Friends, we will start today. I'm sorry to say today we have lost one surveyor friend from Chennai, Mr. N. Ramamurthy. He was a CA auditor, worked in United India as a CA, and later went to become a surveyor. He joined with Tata AG and then went to Middle East and worked as a surveyor. On his return to India, he started practicing as an independent surveyor and auditor also. He's a very soft-spoken and highly knowledgeable person. He was treated for minor illness and later found infected with corona. And today morning at 4 a.m. at Government Hospital Chennai, he left us. IISLA and all its members pray for his departed soul. As a mark of respect, we will start with a 1 minute of silence. So I will request all the members observe 1 minute silence for Mr. N. Ramamurthy. We have lost him today. Please observe. Okay. Welcome all the members for this 10th webinar. Friends, today we are presenting part 2 of motor trade risk policies. Today we have invited speaker Mr. S. Arsu. He is a graduate engineer, BTech. He has conducted so many classes for IISLA earlier also. He is a senior vice president in RSA, that is Royal Sundaram. He is also motor claim head at Royal Sundaram Insurance Company Limited. He has a rich experience in the field of motor underwriting and claims. We welcome him to this session on motor trade risk policies. Today's session will be conducted for 75 minutes, and after that we will having 15 minutes of question and answer session. Members, I request you to put your all the questions in the chat box. Today we have panelists Mr. Binu Varki and KB Manchanda also, who will be assisting you to give the answer in question and answer session. If you have any other queries, you can write us on training@isla.net. So I request Mr. Arsu sir.
Good evening, all of you.
Yeah. Good evening, sir.
It's nice to be back with you all.
Yeah.
We had just an introduction session to the motor trade insurance last week. And based on some requirements, I'll be recapping what we discussed last week once again, so that everybody is clear on the fundamentals. I'm starting the product and total in a different way so that participant will be able to easily comprehend. Automobile product, be it a motorcycle or a two-wheeler or a car or a lorry, it is a product, subject matter of insurance. It's a property. The property starting from the manufacturer till it reaches the end customer. Something like marine insurance, who is the property owner? It changes on and off. For example, if it is manufactured inside the factory, fire policies takes care of it. One is manufactured.
Sorry, Arsu sir, sorry to disturb you. That screen is not displaying.
1 minute, please. No, I joined in two screens, one on iPad.
Yeah.
If you can open this video, then I'll be visible like
that. Which name you are putting on that iPad?
Arasu.
ST Arasu?
Yeah, ST Arasu.
Okay. So, yeah. Now check. I have put it in.
Yeah. Am I visible?
Not yet, not yet. Yes. Now it's visible. Yeah. So you're visible. Your screen is not visible.
Now screen will be here. When I share it, I'll be sharing the book like this.
Yeah, share. You can share this thing.
1 minute. Now the material is visible.
Yes. Now both we are able to see you. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Fine. Now, the particular product which is starting from the production line is covered by the fire insurance. Then the vehicle is manufactured and sent to the yard for stock. The stock policy takes care of it. It is loaded into the truck, and marine transit insurance takes care of it. It's unloaded at the dealer point or a stockyard of the manufacturer, again a stock policy. Then the dealer handles it for PDI inspection, takes it to trial, demo purposes, and then to RTO office for registration. Trade insurance. Ideally to say, when the vehicle leaves the dealership to the RTO office, it goes in motor trade insurance. When it comes back to the dealership, it is still with the motor trade insurance. Once the vehicle is delivered with the puja, when the customer is driving it outside the dealership, it is now the customer's private car package policy takes care of it. Now, customer is driving it. It is now his package policy will take care of it. Now, once the customer decided to leave back the vehicle to the dealer for repairs, a vehicle registered already, that vehicle, when it comes back to the dealership, even assuming that the vehicle is picked up at his residence for service by the dealer's employee or driver, from that moment, again, the property owner is motor trader, motor dealer. This is how the insurance of the vehicle changes depending upon the hand or the custody it is with. Last week I said, motor trade insurance is not a product out of motor tariff. It is also following the Motor Vehicle Act. Last week we saw the provisions of the law that any vehicle in India should be registered before using it. Otherwise, you cannot use the vehicle. That is the provisions of Motor Vehicle Act. Now, but the same act provision also gives an exemption. I'll just read out the law for everybody's understanding. When the law states that no vehicle shall be driven unless the vehicle is registered with the respective road transport authority. This is the provisions of the law. It further provides, provided that nothing in that section shall apply to a motor vehicle in possession of a dealer. The dealer means you can understand it's not only the dealer as well as other stakeholders of the automobile industry. That means even if the vehicle is not registered, an automobile trader can drive the vehicle without a registration. This is the provisions of the law. Now, it also says subject to certain conditions. The dealer cannot simply use it. The dealer has to obey to certain conditions of the Motor Vehicle Act or rules, which is stated in section 33 of the Central Motor Vehicle Rules. What is that section 33 says? Gentlemen, I request all of you to listen to me and go to the book. Book is anyway is going to be written. Even after that, you can go through that, make questions. I can answer you through Sachin through your platform. Your listening will help me to get more questions from you. The 33 section says the dealer cannot simply use it. Dealer has to have a trade certificate. The trade certificate is nothing but a temporary registration for him. Whenever he is going to use the new vehicle for any purpose, trial, PDI, demo, or to our registration to RTO office, then he should use a trade certificate. When the vehicle is being repaired and going for a trial, he should use a trade certificate. The trade insurance, the trade certificate came into existence way back in the 1930s in UK because there was a challenging of the ownership before the Queen's Court of England. When I left my vehicle for servicing with Arasu Automobiles, and the employee of Arasu Automobiles was driving the vehicle, made an accident, and killed somebody on the road, who has to pay for the third party? The vehicle owner said, I cannot pay because I am not responsible. I am not given to anybody else. I have given to an automobile workshop who is supposed to take proper precaution of my property, so I will not pay. Then the dealership said, I only took a trial for the benefit of the customer. I cannot pay. This case was adjudicated in such a fashion. There is a change in ownership temporarily. That means when the vehicle custody is passed on to a motor trader, he is now the owner. That means the vehicle original owner, registered owner cannot be the owner because he has already handed over the custody to a motor trader. He has not handed out to anybody else. So the trader has to take all precautions. That is why the law said we will give you a temporary registration, which is called a trade certificate. With that certificate, which can be, a dealer can have 5 or 10, depending upon his forecast, and every year he has to renew it. He can use the plate on anybody's vehicle, a new vehicle or a used vehicle or registered vehicle, then to showcase to the public that he is the temporary owner of the vehicle because the vehicle is in his custody. So the trade certificate is issued as per the provisions of the law of India under section 33 of the motor vehicle law. Now, I'm surprised with the looking at the provisions of the trade insurance. Once there is a registration certificate of the customer, you have a package policy. Once you have a trade certificate, naturally insurance should have a product for them. That is why we have motor trade insurance. And as I told you last week, the motor trade insurance is as old as package policy or S2L comprehensive policy. I have seen the wording of this trade insurance way back in 1940s in England. They have been using this product for quite some time. Even in India, it is there from S2L. I have seen a product of 1962-63, and even in 1973 tariff, it is available. That particular trade insurance product have not undergone a change. What is surprising is, even in those days, this trade insurance, they are able to visualize how a motor trader is able to use this vehicle. Now you are seeing in page number 4 and page number 5, almost item A to H. Go back to page number 4. You can see item A to H. These are all the utilities, usages a trader can use it. You can use it for test, you can use it for weighbridge, you can use it for painting, you can use it for stockyard and come back, delivery, exhibition. Every purpose is covered. That is the beauty of the product. And even not only the items listed in this motor vehicle law under section 41, item A to H, is the tariff also uses certain other usages which is not given here. For example, when the new vehicle comes into the dealership, it is a natural human reaction. The proprietor of the dealership, managing director, general manager, may try the vehicle to home for trial purposes because a new product has come in, I would like to try first. Even those kind of informal usages not listed in the Act is also covered under the motor insurance product. The motor trade insurance is a very comprehensive product for the motor trader. Now, I have been using the word trader. Who and all comes on the trader? Anybody deals with automobile trade comes under the meaning of motor trader. Though the Motor Vehicle Act has not listed all the trader, it is clearly saying it is in a different way. For example, I'll tell you the provisions of the law. For the purpose of the provision of section 39, a motor vehicle in possession of a dealer or a manufacturer of automobiles or automobile ancillaries or a test agency specified in Rule 126 shall be exempted from necessary registration. The automobile ancillaries can be incorporated to bring everybody into the fold. A motor financier, automobile financier, used car dealer, a paint shop, or a roadside assistance company, or recovery agents. Anybody can be brought under the scope of a motor trader. So let us understand, customer vehicle registered owners one side, other side is all the stakeholders of motor insurance, motor industry, manufacturer to dealer to repairer to paint shops to financier, recovery agents, used car dealers. Everybody will come under the scope of trade certificate of the law. I repeat, trade certificate of the law, and also naturally into motor trade insurance. To give you some case studies, if a vehicle is repossessed by a financier and the vehicle is being driven by the financier's driver, even though just hold on, there'll be page number 4, please. Even if the vehicle is insured by the customer in package policy, moment the vehicle is repossessed by the financier, when financier is driving to his yard, his office, if there is any accident, the customer is not liable to pay. It is only the financier has to pay any liability arising out of the accident because he is a trader. This is very clearly mentioned in package policies of both the private car and two-wheeler. It is also implied in commercial vehicle policies. There is an exception under the limitation as to use in every motor policy, which says the policy shall not cover. The company shall not be liable for any loss or damage while being used for any connection with the motor trade. It is an exclusion under motor trade policy as far as section 1 and 2 is concerned. It is a limitation as to use. So both the liability claim as well as own damage claim, insurance company will not pay under the customer's policy. It has to be paid only when the motor trader, the respective trader, has a motor trade insurance. This is, I have given you, the motor trade certificate is a legal document under the Motor Vehicle Act issued to motor trade purposes for the motor trader. So since it is a trade certificate, RC book of the customer will have package policy or standard third party policy. Same way, trade certificate of a dealer or a trader, they will have motor trade insurance either a package policy or a legal liability policy. So both the products are applicable to both the kind of users. It is provided under the tariff. Now, at this juncture, we need to understand one more thing. There is two insurance. Let us assume practically when the vehicle goes into the workshop, there are two insurances available. One is by the customer as a package policy, and one is a motor trade insurance by the manufacturer or by the dealer, which is having it as a trade plate insurance. Both insurance are there. That is why there is an understanding in the insurance industry from 1973, or precisely say, I think from 1976. If we can slightly go to Mr. Sachin.
Yes. Fifth number.
Page number 7. Now,
Is it right?
yeah, page number 7. There is an agreement called knock for knock agreement. There is a knock for knock agreement between the insurance companies. It is being signed. The last one was signed in the month of October 2019 by all the insurance companies. That wording has slightly changed. I can read it a little later on. I will retrieve it and read it. But almost the same meaning, but it has given big list now. I'll just read it in the box paragraph. Damage to motor vehicles whilst in the hands of a maker. Maker means maker to be read as a motor trader, which is now being clarified. Damage to motor vehicle whilst in the hands of a maker, repairer, garage proprietor or selling agent when it is in public place or temporarily garage during the course of the journey elsewhere than in premises owned by the occupation of the proprietor or the maker or repairer. It is there as insured. It has to be read as repairer, garage proprietor or a dealer. Shall be dealt with as a claim under the policy held by the motor trader, dealer, repairer, garage proprietor or selling agent, notwithstanding any other insurance on such motor vehicle. That means insureds, the vehicle registered owner's insurance will not pay. It has to be paid by the insurance held by the motor trader. It is little wide because the trade certificate can be obtained by a motor trader, a dealer or a repairer, but a hotel cannot obtain a motor trade certificate. Let us assume for valet car. That is why the motor trade insurance has two provisions. It can be issued to a motor trader. It can also be issued to people who deal with the motor, handle the motor, or take custody of the vehicle temporarily. That is also available, though it is not identified in the Motor Vehicle Act. The product covers that aspect also. So the motor trade insurance could be given any motor trader as well as anybody dealing with the customer's vehicle on a temporary custody. The motor trade insurance can be given. So at this stage, I make a small pause and trigger a thought process. Motor trade insurance, I just repeat, articulate yourself, need not take notes. Please understand, motor trade insurance is a product to cover motor trade certificate of the law. Motor trade certificate are issued to motor traders. I have given you a list of motor traders. Anybody dealing with the automobile trade, be it a financier to manufacturer to repairer to recovery agent to paint shops, everybody will be a motor trader. So motor trade certificate will be issued to them. Since it is a motor certificate, that means a temporary registration. Naturally, insurance product will support it either by way of a legal liability policy, third-party legal liability policy, or a package policy to the particular motor trader. That is what motor trade insurance is concerned. Fundamentally, if everybody will have a question at this stage, in case of a flood, the vehicle is parked inside a motor dealership or a garage. The vehicle is completely damaged. Do you mean to say the package policy of the customer, vehicle owner, will not pay the claim? Yes, as per the provisions of the law, as per the provisions of not for not agreement, the claim has to be paid by the motor trade insurance.
हम नहीं समझाना है यार, तू टेंशन ना ले, ये अल्टीमेटली हम नहीं करना है. ब्रदर, you take it for granted. अब समझो पूरा जो ना इस.
हेलो.
ओके.
हेलो.
ओके.
मनचंदा जी.
जी सर.
I think your mic is.
Okay.
In fact, there is a live case. Question is asked now under this. The case study I am telling you at this stage, all the many states have the flood situation today. And the vehicle is inside the dealership, left for repairs, either accident repair or service repairs. The vehicle is damaged due to flood and the vehicle has to be repaired. The customer is also having a package policy from one insurance company. The insurance company which has issued package policy, the customer will not honor, need not honor the damage to the particular vehicle because vehicle is in the custody of the particular motor trader. The package policy clearly excludes use in any connection with the motor trade. So the customer cannot claim under motor package policy. It is the responsibility of the motor trader to indemnify the customer by repairing it. He should have his own insurance. I will not say it is motor trade insurance. He should have his own insurance. The insurance could be motor trade insurance. It could be certain other insurance because in motor trade insurance, certain insurance and motor trade will not cover natural calamities. That means you should have a stock policy, you should have a fire policy, but the motor trader cannot say claim it from your own policy, which is not right. Even assuming that dealers always say, no, you have to claim your policy, the customer will lose the NCB. Some dealers will say, no, I accepted the vehicle by clearly telling you that we are not responsible in the event of any accident, loss or damage while it is in the workshop. We have given it as a condition in our service slip itself. That is not valid. That is not legal. You cannot put such conditions. You are in the custody of the vehicle. You are in lawful possession of the vehicle. That means you are responsible to indemnify. So the customer will not be indemnified from his package policy. Damages has to be paid by the insurance processed by the particular dealer or the repairer. But many dealers and repairers may not have such policies. That means we need to assume that it is a self-insurance. He has to pay from pocket. My answer could be little theoretical. It is impractical also because many people may not be able to accept when they don't have an insurance. You mean to say they have to pay from his pocket? Absolutely, yes. And if you say the workshop is a roadside workshop where he is only having a small thatched shed, you mean to say he is also to pay from his pocket? Yes, he has to pay from his pocket. That is law. That is the provisions of the product. But what we do normally, in certain situations, we pay the claim on behalf of the customer and take subrogation rights from the customer, proceed against the particular dealer, trader or workshop and trying to make some recovery. But in insurance parlance, informally, if you can say 100% recovery never possible, even in marine, we are all very happy even if you are able to get 40%, 50% recovery. So recovery is possible, but the answer to the question, whether package policy to pay the claim, no, it has to be paid by the insurance in possession of the particular dealer. I once again repeat the case study which I last time I told you. I don't know how many people joined last time you joined. There was a dealer who never take motor insurance, motor trade insurance. Despite advices, they never took that insurance. They have taken the vehicle for a demo purposes to IT company. 5 senior people traveled in that vehicle as a demo, and the vehicle met with a major accident, and all of them are injured. 2 people are in critical stage. And in case one of the senior person of the IT company died, the dealership would have paid something around 1.5 to 2 crores in the year 2004 as a compensation under legal liability because they don't have a trade insurance. Then we explained this position to them. It is not the one damage which you are going to be bothered about. One damage is one thing, but as well as that legal liability is going to be a big one. That means you have to protect yourself by a policy separately, otherwise insurance company will not pay. All the matured markets, once it is in the hands of the customer trader, the particular policy will not operate. It has to be paid by the dealership only. So hope this is very, very clear. This is also very clear from the law, from the trade insurance, from the knock-for-knock agreement. The knock-for-knock agreement is very much valid. Every year it is being signed by all the insurance companies. We exchange drafts. We take legal opinion. Industry experts give opinion on the draft. And the recent one is signed for the purpose of 2021 was in the month of October. It was circulated to insurers in the month of December, if I am precisely right, 19th December 2019. The knock-for-knock agreement recent will be available either in JA Council website. You can browse this, or all the insurance company would have hosted the knock-for-knock agreement in their own website. You are right. One question is being, sir, do you mean to say that as a vehicle visit the dealer point for repairing or servicing, then the motor OD policy is ceased? You are absolutely right. Not while entering the dealership alone. Even when the dealer vehicle is handed over at my house to a dealership representative or a driver, my insurance says it is in the custody of the particular dealer. My package policy will not operate. We are all aware many insurance companies have denied the claim in the market. Even in the, I'm talking about right from 2005 Surat flood, Bombay floods, 2005 Surat floods, Chennai floods, Kerala floods. Many insurance companies have denied the claim. Some insurance companies would have paid the claim but protecting the recovery rights. Beyond that, a recovery is possible. It is left to the individual insurer whether it is possible, whether it is successful, because many insurance companies also have relationship with a lot of motor traders and dealers. They do have relationship, so they may take a commercial decision on that particular point. But provisions of the law, provisions of the tariff, provisions of the knock-for-knock agreement is very clear that insurance companies' package policy will not pay the claim. Hope I am very, very clear on the trade insurance. It is once again articulate. Hope I have clarified all those conditions here. One gentleman has asked the question at the juncture, please explain contractual liability. I don't know for what reason he has asked. Maybe he is thinking, when I handed over the vehicle to the dealership or repairer, is it a contract for repair? This contractual liability is inbuilt in the policy as an exclusion under the policy, under a general exceptions, is not as a contract for here. Contractual liability means I am liable to pay somebody due to a contract between me and that individual, cannot be claimed under the motor policy because of an accident. For instance, I am running a taxi for an IT company. I should provide 5 vehicles every day. There is an agreement between me and the Jet Airways or Indigo that I will provide 5 taxis to pick up their pilots. Failing to do so, for not providing every vehicle, I will pay a penalty of 5,000 rupees plus the alternate arrangement made by the Indigo Airlines. So that is a contract between a taxi operator Arasu and Indigo Airlines. Under that contract, suppose Arasu's vehicle taxi met with an accident, I couldn't provide that vehicle, and that vehicle means the 4 vehicle only produced. As per the agreement between me and the Indigo Airlines, I have to pay 5,000 rupees penalty, which is a contractual liability that cannot be claimed under the motor policy, because the motor policy is paying the damages to the vehicle. Motor policy is paying the injury death to the third parties. This particular losses cannot be claimed under this. That is why the provision of contractual liability is generally accepted in all motor policies. That nothing to do with the contract with the motor trader. Contractual liability is not excluded under motor policies. It is generally accepted. Gentlemen, if you want me to divert a little bit, hope Sachin will allow me.
Yes, sir. You can answer, sir.
There are three things you need to understand. We will cover it in a different session, gentlemen. There are three types of definitions you need to understand. If I'm asking you, implosion is covered under motor policy, there are survey reports I have seen, there are insurance companies I have seen in this career, that they denied the claim because of implosion, saying that in the items listed under section 1, item 1 to 10, covering 27 perils of a motor policy, implosion word is not there. So many of them are not aware. Implosion is also a kind of an explosion, a technical definition. I think somebody has even handled a session on implosion, explosion. So implosion is type of explosion. Implosion is very much covered. There is a technical definition to every peril in every insurance policy. So we need to understand the technical definition. The second one, when a driver is driven the vehicle, vehicle is handed over to the driver by the owner of the vehicle, asking him to go somewhere and come back home. The driver never returned. The driver is absconding with the vehicle. That means the vehicle has been stolen or vehicle has been removed in possession. Is it a theft? Many people will say this is not a theft, because the theft definition is very clear. So what they will say, this is not a theft, so we will not pay the claim. Many claims have been denied under this count. It has gone to even consumer forums. Consumer forums, some judgments are in favor of the customer, some judgments are against the customer. But where to find out? If you go to the Indian Penal Code and find out the definition of a theft, an example is given. If a property is belonging to Arasu handed over to Ravichandran, and Ravichandran is missing along with the property, though it is breach of trust, it is also theft. So there is a legal definition to some perils given in the insurance policies. Third one, malicious damages. Malicious means damages caused by intentional damages. That could be, malicious damages could be intentional, malicious damages could be unintentional. So the drafters of the tariff said, no, malicious means both are available. So either intentional damages or without any intention, the damages created, both are payable under malicious damages. That means the drafter has a definition for it. So every motor policy, every insurance policy has three definitions. One is a technical, simple English definition, fire. What do you want me to define? The fire has a different meaning in insurance. If the fire is in motor, it is not a conditional fire. If the fire is in fire insurance, it has a conditional fire. So fire has an insurance meaning. It has a technical meaning. It has a legal meaning. It has a drafter's meaning. So all the four meaning to be understood. The contractual liability will come under the definition of drafter's meaning. Here the drafter means, what it means is the contracts, some other contract between the vehicle owner and somebody. Because this vehicle meets with an accident, if there is a liability, the vehicle couldn't be made available, and that liability cannot be claimed under this particular policy. Very simple in private car. My vehicle met with an accident. I don't have a vehicle to go to my office. So I have engaged in Ola taxi. Per day I have paid 200 rupees. I cannot, 3 days I have paid 600 rupees. I cannot claim the 600 rupees from this policy, which is a loss, which is a loss out of an accident, cannot be claimed under this policy. That comes under consequential loss. If it is a private vehicle, if it is a commercial vehicle, it becomes a contractual liability. In either way, both the consequential losses, both the contractual liability will not be paid under motor liability policy. Now coming back to the trade insurance, gentlemen, once again I recap, trade insurance is very clear. It can be given only to the motor traders. I have given you the list of motor traders, and it is to be followed by motor trade certificate. And now let us go into the three products now. We have three kinds of products. I am in page 8. We have motor trade road risk policy, motor trade road transit risk policy, motor trade internal risk policy. In these three kinds of products, Let us talk only about motor trade road risk policy and motor trade internal risk policy. The road transit risk policy is nothing but an extension for road risk policy, because road risk policy has a kilometer restriction, whereas the transit will take care of the kilometer beyond the restriction in road risk policy. So we will go one by one. Motor trade road risk policy, this policy to be taken motor trader. Gentlemen, as I told you, many people, many motor trader could be with a trade certificate. The roadside local garage may not be able to get trade certificate, either due to it is costly, or some states the RTOs refuse unless otherwise you registered yourself under GST, you register yourself under the MSME Act. So many conditions are there, so they will not have an opportunity to get a trade certificate, whereas a motor trade insurance gives them another alternative, trade certificate basis or a named driver basis. Let us say Arasu Automobiles, a small workshop operated by Arasu and his chief mechanic Ravichandran. If only these two people are going to drive the vehicle for any trial purposes, then the motor trade road risk policy can be taken from my name, giving me my name as a proprietor and my chief mechanic's name. If both the people can be added, and you can add any number of people, you have to pay the request premium, or you can restrict to 2 people or 4 people or 10 people. That is how the named driver basis operates in motor trade insurance. So the conditions of the policies are the same. Scope of policy is the same. Exclusion is the same for road risk policy. Only thing is, premium charging will be depending upon the number of trade certificates or the number of named drivers that are declared for insurance. Only on premium calculation it will vary, otherwise it will not vary. Of course, naturally the named driver basis will have a condition that only the insurance is valid only when the vehicle is driven by one of the named driver named into the policy. Otherwise, the insurance will not operate. But however, you know very well how good the industry is about declarations well in advance. I have sent to you mail, including Pandian also, but I think that mail has not reached you. Pandian only drew, he only joined last month. All those things we are all aware, but it is a product available. Either it can be given on a trade certificate basis or on a named driver basis. This product available. This product will cover loss or damage or liability depending upon the type of policy, while it's in the custody of the motor trader, either being driven or in temporarily garage, parked in a public place or any other place other than the premises owned by the trader. Because once the vehicle comes inside, the road risk policy will not operate. Only internal risk policy will operate. So you can say up to the gate, it is internal risk policy. After the gate, it is road risk policy. After the gate, within the premise, within the certain kilometers, for understanding, let us say 80 kilometers or 120 kilometers, road risk policy. If it is beyond that, road transit risk policy. So these 3 products are to be taken for every trader. Those who have trade certificate basis, they should have internal risk policy, they should have road risk policy, and they should have road transit risk policy. Not necessary. They can take it as and when the kilometer is going to be extended. So these 2 policies are a must. But internal risk policy and road risk policy, gentlemen, all of you need to understand, it covers only driving risk. It will not cover any trade risk. It will not cover any handling risk. It will not cover any natural calamities. It will not cover any internal risk policy. It will not cover theft, because every dealer, every premiser should be having a fire insurance, should be having a stock policy. That is all covered there. So internal risk policy will cover driving inside the premises. Road risk policy will cover driving outside the premises. That is the scope of both the product. It will not give cover for anything else. For instance, if the road risk, 1 minute please. If the road risk policy is covered everywhere, even if it is parked while going to the RTO office, you are parking on a public place, because normally vehicles parked elsewhere, because RTO office may not have the space. Something happens there, either an accidental damage or vehicle stolen, it is payable under the road risk policy. Whereas internal risk policy, if the mechanics are driving inside in the dealership and the rubbing against a compound wall, hitting another vehicle, hitting another customer's vehicle, or hitting their own vehicle inside the premises, all those things are covered. But in case a spanner accidentally fallen on the windscreen damage, it is called handling damages. Working damages while being worked upon cannot be paid under internal risk policy. These are all considered as a trade risk, which will not come under this. So once again, I say road risk policy, motor trade insurance used to cover driving risk outside the premises of a motor trader. Motor trade internal risk policy used to cover driving risk inside the premises of a motor dealer. 1 minute, let me just go through. Gentlemen, I am confining my answers only to the questions related to motor trade certificates, motor trade insurance. I'm not talking about any other subject because some questions are also beyond the scope of trade insurance. So let me talk about only motor trade insurance. Now let us go to the motor trade road risk policy. What is covered, what is not covered. In page number, there's a table in page number 10. You can go to the page number. This is a table in which you can see this product is applicable to the first box. It is applicable to registered vehicles as well as unregistered vehicles, new and old vehicles. It is applicable to all kinds of vehicles, be it a two-wheeler or a transport vehicle or even a heavy special and miscellaneous type of vehicles. Any vehicle, if a vehicle, even if it is not to be registered under the things, can be insured under the type of vehicle. It is a motor vehicle, so long as it is covered under motor insurance, this motor trade risk policy can be applied. This is not applicable for vehicle use and hire. TP legal liability for injury and death is unlimited as per the law. Type of policies, you have all the three types of you have third party legal liability policy, you have a package policy, you also have an option fire and theft operation is also available. So third party legal liability for third party property damage is restricted to 1 lakh for dealer for two-wheeler. Now it is 10 lakh for the other types of vehicle, which is also available, third party property damage. Basis of rating will be based on the number of trade plates in possession or number of drivers are on roads. See some questions are also there, how they get the trade plates. If I'm going to start a dealership for a particular OEM make, and I would have projected I am planning to sell 50 vehicles from the first month. Maybe I will reach 100 vehicles in the end of the year. Then I can apply for at the maximum 3 vehicles will go for registration. Another 3-4 vehicles will go for PDA service. I will apply for 10 certificates. But normally the regional transport authority will say how many vehicles you are going to sell. They may say 50 vehicles. No, you should take minimum 10. You should take minimum 20 because they look at it from the tax perspective. Some automobile RTOs will say take 5. But whatever you are in possession in the first year, it will be reviewed based on the number of vehicles you have sold in the previous year. Then accordingly you can renew it. For example, I know one of the automobile group in South. They make an assessment well before every year. One particular location will have 22 plates last year. This year they will reduce it to 7 because they have decided to do away with certain products in that particular location. So it is a dynamically number of trade plates in possession will keep changing, as well as number of named drivers. The named driver policies are very, very rare. Most of the dealerships and automobile traders will not go for named driver basis. Only the workshops, local workshops, which is small in number, can look for the named drivers prices. Types of parameters for rating. This is very important to understand. The number of plates they should in possession should be declared for insurance. All the number plates, all the trade certificate they have should be declared for insurances. And as far as TP cover is concerned, I told you injury death is unlimited. and property damage has a limit which is there. But as far as own damage is concerned, the basic limit for OD loss for each certificate is only 7,500 for two-wheeler and 25,000 rupees for other vehicles. That means the limit is fixed for this, and there is an additional limit available. You have to make additional premium. For example, my IDV, average IDV of let us assume one particular make. I may sell a low-end vehicle which is priced at 4 lakhs. I may sell another model which is maybe 10 lakhs. So I need to minimum have a 10 lakh sum insured. It is possible to have 4 plates you have. You can allocate 2 plates for vehicles up to the price of 6 lakhs and 2 plates for models up to 6 to 10 lakhs. So you can have 2 plates sum insured for 6 lakhs and 2 plates sum insured for 10 lakhs. So that all the products you cover will get covered in this. But that means your basic policy will cover 25,000 rupees. For IDV up to 6 lakhs, you have to pay additional premium for 5,75,000 rupees. And then you have to pay additional premium for 9,75,000 rupees for the remaining 2 plates. Only then you will have the IDV. It is all basic limits. So you have to pay additional premium and to make that cover. And kilometer coverages are also available separately. It is not that it is own damage cover is available. As far as the TP is covered, it is India. Any kilometer restriction, you cannot say I will only give you kilometer restriction up to 80 kilometers, because TP validity is all over India. Even if the dealer has driven the vehicle beyond the kilometers mentioned in the policy, as far as TP liability is concerned, insurance company has to pay entire country. It is in the geographical area is India. As far as own damage is concerned, there are limits. There are limits up to 120 kilometers. It can be extended to 360 kilometers. It can be extended to 640, 720 kilometers. We can keep increasing for older vehicles. But whereas there is a restriction for new vehicles, which is normally 80 kilometers, the 80 kilometers can be further increased to 120 kilometers. But beyond a point, you cannot increase. Beyond a point, if you are going to drive it for 600 kilometers, you have a policy for 120 kilometers. For the balance 480 kilometers, you have to take a policy under motor trade road risk policy, transit risk policy for the difference in kilometers, which is possible. So this is a motor trade road risk policy. I'm not going into the premium details. I'm only going to I have only shared how the product is structured, but further the understanding of the coverages are concerned, it is nothing but a package policy. What are all available in a package policy, this policy also covers. There are no exclusions separately for this, because only thing is the depreciation will be different. Here, the depreciation on a new vehicle, depreciation on an older vehicle will be slightly varying, because it is sometimes you handle new vehicle, I cannot say I will apply depreciation as per the table. So that is one option. The second one is it also gives some wider coverages. As I told you, when the vehicle is driven by the general manager or proprietor of the property of the dealership in charges, they can take an additional cover. The vehicle also can be used for demo purposes. In demo, there are 2 types of demos available. One demo, the dealership driver will drive, prospective customer will sit inside. That is also can be covered. In another demo, the prospective customer himself will drive, the dealership employee will sit next to him. That is also covered. Then the wider legal liability can also be included. Then we have one more option, that when the vehicle, suppose I go and leave the vehicle for repairs, the dealership can give me an alternative vehicle for either as a complimentary or for a hire per day. Just pay 100 rupees, sir. You can use this vehicle till your vehicle service is completed. That extension can also be taken under motor trade policy. Then normally tire is covered only for 50% depreciation. That can be removed for motor trade insurance. That can be paying additional premium. You can say the entire the clause of 50% deletion can be removed so that the dealer can get 100% cost of the tire. So this is the scope of the motor trade road risk policy. So what I suggest is, Sachin, this product,
Yes,
if you
sir.
can give a pass, and if I can go through the question, some of the question, I can answer it so that it becomes very clear before moving to the
Definitely,
next one.
we will have this 5 minutes break, okay, and we can answer the question, right?
Yes, please, sir.
Yeah. Binu sir, you can stop the screen sharing. Binu sir, you can stop the screen sharing.
I can share. I can stop.
Yeah, you can stop.
Sachin, you can activate the screen.
Yeah.
There was one question. The vehicle does not have a valid insurance policy. Then the trade policy is valid. Naturally, when the vehicle is left to a dealership, the package policy was not valid, either expired or no insurance. But so long as the vehicle is in the custody of the dealer, motor trade policy will pay the claim for the damages happened in the custody. What is the difference between fire policies for auto trade dealers and coverage difference between trader policy except road risk for own vehicle? Gentlemen, as I told you, road risk, motor trade insurance, road risk policy, motor trade insurance internal risk policy will cover only driving risk. It will not cover any other peril. If you drive outside, road risk policy. The outside, it is a road risk policy. If you drive inside, motor trade internal risk policy. All other conditions of other fire policies will not come under the scope of motor trade insurance.
So we will take, sir, small questions. The members
Yes,
have this thing. Very small question is whether GST is payable on the labor.
Hello?
Whether GST is payable on the labor.
Yes.
Okay, great. Then second question is, garage owner have fire policy of its own premises parking area. However, repairer hired adjacent shed for additional bodybuilding and repair works and parking and for body repairs. Parked buses under additional area taken on rent and agreement caught fire due to self-ignition while checking engine and AC system. Buses parked in the area burned completely.
All complications in one incident. Very
Yeah,
good.
all the complications.
This comes under motor trade internal risk policy. Let us assume the dealer premises is here,
Right.
and he has taken additional area. The tariff says if the area is beyond a certain distance, you have to take a separate trade internal risk policy. Even then, internal risk policy will not cover two things. One, fire. Then fire happened while working on it. When somebody is working on, the mechanic is working on it, that is considered as an accident, loss or damage while being worked upon. That is not covered under internal risk policy. Internal risk policy will cover only when the vehicle is being driven internally in the premises. No other losses will be paid under the internal risk policy.
Okay, we have this question and answer. Okay.
Now I have compiled clear FAQ. I
Right.
think for each product I have some 70 FAQs, which will circulate it after going through these questions. If somebody can also copy these questions in the 19 questions and send it to me, we will incorporate everything and share it by after the next session if there is going to be one. Because I don't know whether we'll be able to cover motor trade internal risk policy. I don't know how much time you have, Sachin. And internal risk, if you want me to cover in the next session, I have no problem. Or if you want me to cover now, we can have it now.
what we'll do, how many slides are remaining with you?
No, you have to go to, I'm not going to cover trade risk policy. Now,
Right.
the note of trade risk, internal risk policy starts from page number 15. Now, what is that? We have not talked about anything on, for example, you go to page 16. If you go to page 16 and share the document.
Okay. Binu sir, can I have the page number 16?
Yeah, I'll come up. Yeah. I hope the screen is live.
Yeah, screen is live. If you go to that, I want to, participants can look into only two things. One question is the fire accident you referred about. Additional cover more than premises, 1, 2, 3, fourth box. That is more than one premises could be added subject to additional premium based on the superficial area, and more than two premises, some discount apply, conditions apply. You can add more premises. You can also add more open air vehicle parks, which is just above that. Such parking area adjoining but outside the main premises could be added by taking 50% of the area. That is also could be added. So main dealership, workshop, showroom, nearby parking area, either covered or not covered, could be added. But if it is beyond certain kilometers and distance, you have to take a separate motor trade internal risk policies. Please read these three boxes, which will be very clear. But the most important thing in the internal risk policy is not covered. Look at the big list it has. Natural calamities, war-like perils, fire, explosion, theft-like perils, while being worked upon, defective workmanship, death, injury, property damage due to civil work inside the premises, damage due to material handle equipments like cranes, death, injury, damage while driving elsewhere, damage to vehicles due to weather conditions, consequential losses, all kinds of nuclear perils, loss due to depreciation, wear and tear, mechanical, electrical breakdown, failure, breakages, damage to tire due to application of brakes or tire punctures, cuts and burst. Such a wide list, because it clearly gives you an idea. What is covered is only a driving risk inside. That means in clear understanding, accidental external means happening inside the premises are only covered. All those things are excluded.
Okay, great chart, sir. You have prepared. Okay.
But look at the, that's why I said beauty of the product. Just above not covered list, there is one more coverage available. Additional cover, work away from premises. If the dealership is going to send a mechanic to my house, it happened in New India. The dealership has sent a mechanic to my house to repair my vehicle. But while he was repairing, the ring spanner got slipped from his hand and hit a lady standing near in the particular premises. She was grievously injured on her head, and she was driven to the hospital. She was in problem. She was a little serious, and that liability was paid from the extension given in the internal risk policy, because additional cover, work away from premises, liability arising out of work away from one premises at an additional premium can be covered. It's around a well-thought product way back in 1950, not in the recent days. So if a particular dealer or an automobile trader have insurance, motor road risk policy and internal risk policy clearly defining what are all the risks, I don't think he will have to worry about any accidental damage in his hand. Plus, of course, you have to have a stock policy to take care of the excluded perils like fire, explosion, theft-like perils, etc., natural calamities, etc. There is a question: is there a fire policy is required or not before taking a motor policy? Yes, you need to have fire policy separately. Number one. Sir, what about the profit margin of the dealer in parts and labor for repair? If you deduct, how much it will be deducted? When all of you are aware, those days we had a price called net dealer price, retail list price. For example, if the manufacturer part, let us assume battery, if you buy it from the OE proprietary manufacturer, let us assume X side, his list price may be 100 rupees. He will sell it to the OEM. The OEM normally supplies to the battery, those days I'm talking about net dealer price, 100 rupees, he will sell it to the dealer for 120 rupees. The OEM as well as the dealer will also have a list price. If a customer is going to buy the battery, the list price will say it is 140 rupees. So those days we used to have a question. In case in the trade risk policy, when the battery is damaged inside the premises and the dealer is going to change the battery from his stock, we need to pay 120 rupees or 140 rupees. Now, gentlemen, the net dealer price concept is gone. There is only one list price, which is 140 rupees. For all the prices, what is the price being sold by the OEM to the dealer, which is not revealed to anyone else? The net dealer price concept is gone. He is also billed for 140 rupees in some OEMs, but he will get a discount in some form or other, or the net dealer price and MRP price. That is where the margin lies. So as an insurer, we need to indemnify the invoice price, which will be based on the list price. The trade policy will not differentiate between private vehicle and commercial vehicle because the concept is very clear. It is an automobile risk. It is considered as an automobile. Usage of the vehicle is not looked into in the motor trade insurance because hire is an exclusion. You cannot use the vehicle for carrying passengers, carrying goods and all that. It is in the hands of the trader. So there is no differentiation between commercial insurance, commercial vehicle and the motor policy and on the regular private vehicles. There is a question called, but dealers are using plates on different vehicles simultaneously possible? Because, for example, you will understand, if as a trader I have 10 plates. As a trader for a private car I have 10 plates. As a trader for a private car for a BMW I have 10 plates. As a trader for a private car, a Maruti dealership, I have 10 plates. As a trader for a dealership for a two-wheeler, I have 10 plates. Let us assume these three hypothetical cases. If you say a BMW, it is very, very rare that all the 10 trade plates will be in usage. In case of a Maruti dealership, could be in some occasions, 3 vehicles will be going, 3 trade plates will be for RTO, 3 for 3 PDA inspection, and another 4 for vehicle trial could be possible. Whereas in two-wheeler dealership, all the 10, not only 10, beyond 10, more than 10 vehicles will be on the road for some purpose or not. Possible. But insurance tariff assumes normally they don't use all the 10 trade plates all the time. That is an assumption the tariff makes, because that is a risk. You cannot identify, you cannot maintain a log that how many plates are in usage. That is why the tariff itself is assuming that number of trade plates it need not be all the time. And if you see the page number 11, if you go to page number 11, look at the tariff structure itself. For a first trade certificate and named driver basis, the tariff says 0.45% on the IDV of the vehicle. That means 7,500 plus TP premium rupees 550 rupees. For each additional certificate beyond 2 and less than 5, you have to charge 175 rupees for each certificate. If it is beyond 5, less than 10, 120 rupees. And beyond 10 and 15, it is 85 rupees. So it is not on the tariff, on the IDV. It's a flat rate. This relaxation is given only because it assumes that all the plates will not be in use simultaneously. That is an assumption it makes. And one more assumption is also it makes. If you go to page number, 1 minute please, which is not fully there. If you go to page number 11 at the bottom of the table, additional covers legal liability to passenger. Premium per seat. That is the provision given in this step. But actually tariff says if the seating capacity of the vehicle is whatever, if it is 2, charge for 2. If it is 3, charge for 3. If it is 4, charge for 4. If it is 5 or 7 or 12 or 36, assume that seat is only 4 and charge the premium only for 4 people, because the tariff assumes that the vehicle will not carry more than 4 people all the time. This is an assumption it makes, but in case they use all the templates, and it will happen, a two-wheeler dealer will be using 15 vehicles and he will tell you, no, this is the accident vehicle only, this particular trade certificate is attached, so you have to pay the claim. That is assumed. That has to be informally, I can say, I will admit and pay the claim, because after all, it is how the tariff assumes. There are some situations where it could be used, so we will not be able to prove beyond a point. Any other questions, sir?
So we have more than 26 questions, but
Sachin, shall we continue with the session only? We'll come up with the this thing later.
Also, sir, we can continue with the session and then
Okay.
answer we will circulate by mail.
So I'm going to the motor trade internal risk policy, which starts on page number 15. As I told you, this is to cover driving inside the vehicle, inside the premises of the vehicle. Both registered vehicle and unregistered vehicle. It is applicable to all types of vehicle, all motor vehicles, including the property of the insurer. On custody and control, this particular trade internal risk policy will operate. Exclusion already we have seen in page number 16, but page number 15 will tell you the premium is charged by the areas available or the wages paid, both taken into account based on the premium is worked out. And it also covers legal liability. It also covers property damage, but it has a limit because it is inside the premises. The premium table is given in page 16, but it is also possible to give additional coverages, as I told you earlier, that you can cover additional premises, you can cover open air car park, you can cover working away from premises, and the big list is not covered. List is very big in page 16. So I need to once again repeat, it has to be covered. A road risk policy, trade insurance is for driving outside. Internal risk policy is for driving inside. That is how you need to differentiate. When you driving inside, no kilometer restriction because it is inside the premises. Driving outside will have restriction in the kilometers. Suppose you have to drive beyond the kilometers, so naturally you need to take, suppose you are covered 120 kilometers in your trade risk policy. If you want to drive 300 kilometers, for 180 kilometers, you have to take a policy under road transit risk policy. So already you would have taken an annual policy for road risk for all your trade certificates. But for one particular vehicle which is going for 300 kilometers, that alone you can declare it under road transit risk policy. Normally road transit risk policy we issue to a dealer. For example, we are issued to a dealer by charging 75 rupees at the time of policy issuing the policy. That policy is also valid for 1 year. More than that, we will not charge any premium. Suddenly, when the policy is assumed, road risk policy is issued in January. Road transit risk policy, road risk policy is issued for 10 certificates. As I told you, let us take an example. 5 certificates for a sum insured of 5 lakhs, 5 certificates issued for sum insured of 10 lakhs. So that both the models you can use it. It could happen sometimes, in a dealership operation, it is very difficult to control. Some mechanic will take the 10 lakh certificate into 5 lakh and 5 lakh certificate into 10 lakh. It happens. You cannot methodically form, and between you and me, informally, you'll say, don't tax him, don't go into the Sherlock Holmes attitude, find out the gate register. You have not used this. So long as he has declared all the plates for insurance, these kind of administrative lapses, you can ignore it. So he has taken road risk policy for 10 certificates from January. He has also taken motor trade internal risk policy for the entire premises. The premium is based on the total square foot area as well as the number of people employed in the premises. And he will also take a motor trade transit risk policy by paying some premium. Now, all the 3 policies will start in January. In the month of March, let us assume he is sending 3 vehicles beyond the kilometers given in the road risk policy. Then, for the difference in kilometers, he has to tell the insurance company, I am going to send these 3 vehicles for 500 kilometers. So, for the difference in kilometers, under declaration basis, they will tell the premium. That will be accounted under the road transit risk policy. This is how the transit risk policy operates. But all the 3 policies need to be in possession of the automobile dealer. And I'm going to some other questions. What are all the documents need to be checked for motor trade, road risk or internal risk policy? Gentlemen, and here from my experience, I will say, first of all, check whether the motor trade insurance policy is available or not. Internal risk policy is available. Trade certificates in possession is declared for insurance. Internal risk policy is for the same premises. Otherwise, remaining documents, it's a driving risk. You need to ask for a driving license of the driver. Otherwise, you need not ask for the RC book of the vehicle, which is not relevant, because we are now covering the internal risk policy. What is your problem when the vehicle is registered in the RSU's name? It is RC is expired, or RSU's insurance policy is expired, is not matter to it. Documents requirement is based on the philosophy of the respective insurance company. But otherwise, generally you require to verify whether the policy is valid for the premises, trade certificate is declared, that is enough to check it out. Other documents is based on the insured. Whether damage is to be parked, vehicle covered, if other vehicle dashes it, yes, it is very clearly says parked elsewhere other than the premise. If it is parked inside the premises, internal risk policy will cover. If the vehicle is parked outside the premises, then road risk policy will cover. So long as, even if it is parked and damaged by another vehicle, it has to be paid under the road risk policy. Because knock for knock agreement will not work there. The customer dealer has to be paid there. Floater risk can be granted in trade policy having more location dealers, and no floater risk policy is available. In the dealer has to declare what all premises he has to declare, cover, and it is up to him. For example, one of our company dealership group has around 160 locations, and they have declared only 120 locations, 40 locations they have not declared for internal risk policy. True to insurance, in the month of February, 2 vehicles damaged inside the particular premises which is not declared for insurance. Now they are approaching us, we want to do some commercial call, we want to give us some ex gratia payment for it, because they have to declare. The purpose of trade insurance is very clear, utmost good faith. They have to declare all trade certificate in possession. They have to declare for trade certificate basis. They have to declare all the named driver in whom and all is authorized to drive. They have to declare everybody. They have to declare all the premises in their occupation, so that it has a comprehensive cover, so that the park basis also is covered. But there is no floater in motor trade insurances available. Sachin?
Yes, sir. वो
it's more than 1.5 hours.
Yeah. So we'll take
I can continue up to 10, no problem. But
no.
the concentration by the participants, you
Yeah.
need to take into account.
We
So
will
how
take
do
only.
we go about it? Let me know.
No. We will stop here and we'll take 2-3 questions from the participant, live question. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll Mr. Vinod Solanki, you have raised your hand. Mr. Vinod Solanki. I think he's not there. Mr. Mahendra Bhai Trivedi. Mr. Mahendra Bhai Trivedi. Okay. Amarnath Tanaja. Okay. Binu sir, you just remove your screen sharing. Yeah. Now sir is visible. We can. Mr. Trivedi or Mr. Amarnath. So there is one question from Mr. Paresh Urankar. As per new concept, Europe delivery of the vehicle directly from factory to customer, as done by BMW, with due registration. What type of policy products used from?
This is a very good concept which is being. I have seen this concept practically in Australia. The delivery of the vehicle. Actually, if we can say. Put some example to the city. I have practically seen this. The yard is actually in Thane. The customer has ordered the vehicle in Colaba. There is no dealership at all. The dealerships are 10 by 20 by 20 with a lot of TV screens. When a customer walks into the dealership, what do you want to buy, sir? I want to buy LXI, VXI. Everything is shown on the video screen, and you can have the tour of the vehicle. And you can book a demo also. Vehicle will come to your house. You can have a demo. Then the yard is actually in Thane. From Thane it leaves the Thane yard. En route it starts at 3 places. Only in the final place, almost near Matunga or Dadar, the seats are fitted. And almost near Churchgate, they collect a cake and documents. They deliver the vehicle to the customer in Colaba. They also have trade insurance. The trade insurance in Western countries as well as matured market is almost exactly the same wording. And the manufacturer themselves are having a trade insurance. Gentlemen, we have given trade insurance in New India for Tata Motors as well as for Ashok Leyland. Okay. Even if the registration is done, because the registration down, many of the dealerships are done on overseas on the online. When the vehicle is still to be delivered, it is a responsibility of the motor trader. So motor trade insurance still is valid.
Okay. Because
except in US markets where the trade insurance is slightly different. Otherwise, most of the countries where they are the UK practice will have a trade insurance, and the wordings are almost same.
Because after this lockdown lifted, there will be a more and more digital sale will be happen in India.
Yes.
So we are expecting this kind of even in India there are 2-3 startups who are already started selling this vehicle online. They have created the experience for user also, right?
Because naturally they will not be able to afford to have such a big real estate for selling. The concept of for selling sales dealership and service dealership will come. Because if you go to the matured market, all workshops there are two types of workshops. One is a service workshop, another body workshops. Both the workshop will have boards outside authorized for Maruti, authorized for Honda, authorized for Royal Chundram, authorized for Tata AG. All those boards will be available. So sales dealership and service dealership will get split. And that means this kind of still motor and trade insurance will be widely used, because even a small body shop or a paint shop need to have a motor trade insurance.
Thank you, sir. We have a last question we'll be taking. If a claim is launched under policy and the claim is under process for total loss or net of salvage, during under process of total loss claim, if other claim is launched under same trade plate certificate policy, usage of TC plate, what will be the claim process for settlement for both the claim?
Can you ask the concerned person to explain this case study? I understand. Suppose my vehicle is met with an accident and is almost a total loss lying inside the dealer premises. That is what the situation is, or what the situation exactly is?
Mr. Vora, Mr. Pramod Vora, is he there? He has asked the question. I think he's not there. Mr. Vora? Okay.
So I can assume one thing. If the vehicle is inside the premises, and my vehicle is already damaged and inside the premises, and the survey happened or not happened, but due to some situation, the vehicles have further damaged inside the premises. The damages happened in the hands of mine will be paid under the package policy. The extension of damage inside the custody of the dealership has to be paid under trade insurance policy.
Okay.
If it is already a total loss claim inside the premises and further it is damaged, then there is nothing that already my liability under the package policy is established. So I need not tax the dealership under trade insurance. I can straight away handle it. It's all exceptional cases in which it happened many times in Chennai floods and Bombay floods. Total loss vehicles are inside. So what is the liability? Already it's a total loss. And further it is damaged due to water. The loss and wreck value could be cited as an additional liability. That's what people argued. But it is all depends upon insurer, surveyor, how they handle it. For example, I will take the case of my father's vehicle itself. My father's vehicle had become miserably damaged and about to be declared as a total loss. And it was handed over to one of the dealerships, and the vehicle was parked outside, just parked outside the premises of the vehicle. It is also part of the premises. The heavy floods were there, so the military was using some motor boats to evacuate people. The motor of the motorboat, the blades of the motorboat damaged the roof of the vehicle also. So we could find out how the damages happened when the damages were not there in the roof. So a lot of water damage was there. So the roof damages were there. It's all happened in the the custody of the dealership. But however, the vehicle is already a total loss because the engine is damaged, the front portion is damaged. So the claim was paid under the package policy of the vehicle, but we are not triggered anything under the trade policy. But when the clear distinction is there, even otherwise that extension of damage is happened at the dealership premises because of the wreck value is affected, to that extent of wreck value loss can be claimed under motor trade insurance. That is technical, theoretical part of it.
Okay. So I think we have given more than enough information for the participant. We have answered a lot many questions, and whatever the remaining questions, definitely we will post it in our knowledge sharing platform through this mail. They can also ask the question. Okay. I will request Binu sir and Mr. Manchanda sir. He is also today's panelist. So put on your video on.
Can I have one last comment on this, please?
Yes, sir.
Sachin, what I suggest is,
Yeah.
there are around 21 questions I could see.
Yeah.
If you can copy and send it by my mail,
Yes.
I will add those questions in my FAQ.
Okay.
I will circulate it by tomorrow or day after.
Yes.
I suggest one more quick 45-minute session.
Right.
I'll leave it to your convenience on the same topic.
Right.
We'll give complete clarity on everything.
Right.
And that session could be not a lecture from my side.
Right.
Straight away, they can keep
It's
asking supplementary questions in the chat box or a question answers, so that we can address one by one. That makes things very, very clear.
right.
But it has a condition. It has a condition like a policy condition.
Right.
People need to go through this document which is circulated today, as well as the FAQ document very clearly, so that that session could be very precise, focused. We can end it up within 45 minutes.
Right.
Over to you, Sachin.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for this wonderful session. I also thank Mr. Binu Varki sir and KB Manchanda sir for replying promptly for all the question and answer of participant. Okay. I thank all the members also for patiently listening, and even after this 8 o'clock. I know that since morning you are working because in many cases the lockdown is lifted up. Okay. So I will thank you all the participants, and tomorrow we are meeting in the morning session 11:30. We'll be speaking on the GST by Mr. One of the CA, Mr. Gupta. He's from the Jaipur. Okay, so we are coming with basic on the GST part. Thank you, Arsu sir, for your valuable time and valuable information sharing with all the peoples. Okay. And we hope that in future also we can trouble you for the question and answer and other knowledge part also. Mr. Manchanda sir, Vinu sir, do you want to sum up anything?
Yeah, one thing I would say thanks to all of your team, including Mr. Arsu. It was a very interactive and very informative session today, and definitely the questions which we have received, they are very intricate, and they require his attention as expert in the policy. So next session we may be trying to answer all these questions, and definitely next session is going to be much more beautiful and informative, I guess so. And I thanks once more to Mr. Arsu for coming here and imparting us his knowledge. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes.
Arsu sir, thank you for your wonderful session, and hope naturally new questions come in, so we can learn based on the what you call the actual reality questions. We'll share you the maximum number of questions, and we'll share it on our LMS for all the participants. Thank you once again, Arsu sir.
Okay, bye everybody. Thank you, sir. Thank you once again, and thank you all the members. Good night.
Good night. Yeah, sure. Thank you. Thank you very much.